Well, New Comic Book Day is almost here again, so it's time to take a look at the books on the pull list. Welcome back to Comics Are Dope. I'm BJ Kicks, and this is The Pull List. It's my weekly video series where I take a look at all the books coming out. I'll tell you which books I'm most excited about, which ones I'm a little less excited about. We'll even talk about some new trade paperbacks and new series debuts hitting the market for this week of New Comics, Wednesday, August 6th, 2025, the first Wednesday of a new month. And like I said, we got a lot of titles to go over. So let's get started with the books at the top of the pile. The top of the pile, these are the books I'm most excited for in a given week based on my enjoyment of the previous issues and everything else going on in my comic book life. So these are waiting for me at my LCS, Fight or Flight Comics, where I have my pull list set up. You can set up a pull list at Fight or Flight Comics as well. Just walk inside the Triangle Town Center Mall, go on the first floor through the food court entrance, and you'll see it there on the left, right past Hollister. It's a great time. These are books waiting for me in my pull box, my subscription box, and I am very, very excited about them. So let's get started with Bitterroot, The Next Movement, issue number 5. This, unfortunately, is the final issue of the miniseries sequel to Bitterroot. I believe Bitterroot won an Eisner. Anyway, the point is, Bitterroot, The Next Movement, Chuck Brown, Sanford Green, David F. Walker, amazing creative team. This follows the next generation of the Sangrier family as they travel to 1960s Mississippi to fight a new generation of Jinnu in a world that does not want to believe that they exist. It's been very good so far. Again, it's going to be a really good conclusion. I'm sad to see it go. I hope we get more Bitterroot. I don't know where you go from here though. I feel like a part of what makes Bitterroot work and not completely turn certain people off is that it is kind of far in the past. I feel like the next iteration of whatever Bitterroot becomes ends up focusing on 2015 through 2020, right? When would we be ready as a society to watch that? We could pull it back all the way to 2011. But anyway, all that to say, Bitterroot, The Next Movement, coming out tomorrow. Cover price on that is $3.99. Next up is Captain America, issue number 2. It's Chip Zdarsky, Valerio Schiti. Issue 1 was a pretty solid debut. I actually did a review on it on the review desk, so you should check that out if you didn't check it out already. But Captain America issue number 1 was pretty interesting in that it sets up a new Captain America. There is a sort of sliding time scale. So when Steve Rogers comes out of the ice is apparently much later than it had been previously in the Marvel history. What does that mean for the Captain America stories you already know and love? I don't know. Probably not much. Just like those, and they're still there. You got all the omnis and all that stuff. But it does mean that a new crop of Captain America fans will appreciate him or understand him in a different way and be pleasantly surprised when they go back and find all the relics and the collected editions and stuff from past eras. All that to say, I really am kind of intrigued by, one, this new super soldier, but also the time period where this book takes place. This takes place in the middle of the War on Terror. So early 2000s United States. And that's a period that I lived through. So I haven't studied it as much as history. And I'm very curious to see what were the lessons? What are the takeaways? What are the things that someone like Chip Zdarsky, who is Canadian, who's not American, what are the things that he takes away from that period in our history, as of course he lived through it as well? And how does that make its way into our fiction? Very interesting stuff to me. And that's kind of more of a broader meta commentary. That's before we even get to the specific nuts and bolts of the story, which are also pretty good. So Captain America issue number 2 is out this week. Cover price on it is $4.99, and I'm excited about it. The next book at the top of the pile is Storm, issue number 11. Murewa Ayodele, Lucas Wernick. This book is great. It's been great. and it's going to continue to be great. We're at issue number 11. We are in the middle of what is called the Thunder War. And what's so cool is when I saw the Thunder War in solicits, 2-3 months ago, I think my brain just assumed, hey, this is going to be Thor versus Storm. And no, this is Storm up against way bigger and scarier forces than Thor. And, I'm not going to pretend that I understand like cosmic Marvel like that. We start talking about Oblivion and Eternity and all these different like huge cosmic gods, basically. You lose me a little bit. The fact that Storm is at the center of this, like navigating this balance between, human. She's not a human, she's a mutant, but she's like the best reminder of the humanity that exists in mutants, perhaps ever. So we've got that aspect. We've got her mutant aspect and, the sort of Omega level abilities that she's always displayed, and even that being taken to new levels. But you're watching her manage like, I am this hugely powerful mutant, but I'm also a human. I'm a woman with a human side that I want people to see and understand and feel. And then she's imbued with the cosmic powers of eternity. And so this is like, I don't know, DC New Gods level talent or, power, all in this one woman. And like the sort of balancing act between those three elements has been very interesting to watch. And like I said, because it's Storm at the center of it, it never feels too far gone. It doesn't feel like the same way I feel like when I'm reading like Jean Grey as Phoenix, for example. I really, really am enjoying this book and all of the layers in the storytelling. I hope this book goes 100 issues, but issue 11 is out this week with a cover price of $3.99. And the last book at the top of the pile for me this week is One World Under Doom, issue number 6. Now, I previously thought we were speeding toward the conclusion of this event. It turns out that One World Under Doom is not ending at 6 issues. I think it's ending at like either 8 or 10. But this is going to be a much longer event than we thought. But this does feel like it has reached a climax of sorts where we've got Doom versus Dormammu, and he sort of like held all of the Earth's heroes, the Avengers, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, in like a sort of suspended state. And now they are ready to fight. And I'm like, yo, this is some interesting stuff. How are we getting past this? And then what happens after that? After they finish this threat, we still got to deal with the problem of the fact that Doom is still the Sorcerer Supreme. Doom is still the Emperor of the world. And we've gotten a clue that basically someone knows how Doom became the Emperor, and it's not quite as benevolent as maybe we thought. So very interesting stuff going on in this event. This is honestly really well done. Marvel's got 2 back-to-back really good events. I liked Blood Hunt last year. I think I like this more, quite honestly. And I liked Blood Hunt, especially with the ramifications. And the 2 dovetail into each other. Great. So One World Under Doom, issue number 6. Let's not do a post-mortem before it's mortem. Cover price on this is $4.99. And those are the books at the top of the pile. These are, like I said, the ones I'm most excited for. But now we get to talk about some new series debuts that are making their way into the market in a segment I like to call On the Radar. The On the Radar, like I said, is new number ones, new series debuts, new jumping on points, new stories getting their start this week. And we're going to start off with one that I am the most excited for among these, and that is Ancestral Recall, issue number 1. It's written by my man Jordan Clark with art by my man Adigun Ilhan. Both were alums of the Milestone Initiative program, sort of new talent development program that DC and Milestone did in partnership with Ally Financial. Well, this new generation of writers and artists has been doing all sorts of amazing things. We got Morgan Hampton writing on Green Lantern Corps. We've had Yasmin Flores Montanez doing all sorts of interesting covers and like different stories. Freaking Julio Anta got nominated for an Eisner, if I remember correctly, for an anthology he was a part of. So there's a lot of really cool stuff happening with the Milestone Initiative alums, and this is the latest. Ancestral Recall is a creator-owned series coming through Ahoy Comics, if I'm not mistaken. But it is about this guy who basically has the power of like all the ancestors. It's very interesting the way it plays out. It's been a little minute since I read the preview issue, the review copy that I got. So I'm excited to revisit it. But there's this guy who his wife goes missing, and as he's trying to find her, he's finding that there's like a greater and greater conspiracy brewing. But also as he's investigating this conspiracy, like there are different situations that come across where it's like he's got to like use a sort of power or skill or a bit of knowledge. And it turns out he knows it all because he can kind of call on any ancestral figure. So there's a lot of like prominent figures from Black history. There's a lot of figures that you wouldn't know of from Black history, but that are very interesting, like the first Black private eye that inspired a bunch of, the noir genre as a whole, like the swashbucklers and ship captains and all sorts of people. Like I said, are sort of unsung heroes, but some that you actually do know about as well, make their way or make their appearances in this book through this guy's power set. It's very, very interesting story, very interesting premise, and the artwork is so well done. I'm very excited for you guys to finally read this. Ancestral Recall is out this week. Cover price of $4.99. Next up is Cheetah and Cheshire Rob the Justice League, issue number 1, out from DC Comics. I had no idea that this was a thing. And being completely honest, I put it on the list because it just sounds interesting. It's a heist inside the most secure facility in the DCU. They're trying to rob the Justice League Watchtower. Cheetah and Cheshire are. Now, I know of Cheshire mostly through the Young Justice animated series, and I loved her in that. Cheetah, I don't know a ton about. I just know she's a Wonder Woman villain, but this should be an interesting book. So, Cheetah and Cheshire Rob the Justice League number 1 is written by Greg Rucka with art by Nicola Scott. And basically, Cheetah and Cheshire try to rob the Justice League Watchtower, which is an interesting premise all on its own. Cheshire I know of because of the Young Justice animated series. Cheetah, of course, I know of a little bit just because I know she's a Wonder Woman villain. She made an appearance in the Wonder Woman run by Tom King not that long ago. Interesting character, but I'm really here for Cheshire because, like I said, I really enjoyed her in the Young Justice animated series, but I've not read anything featuring her in DC Comics. So that'll be fun. Cheetah and Cheshire Rob the Justice League, issue number 1, out this week with a cover price of $3.99. Next up is from Oni Press and EC Comics. This is Cruel Universe, issue number 1. If you are thinking, hey, we had a Cruel Universe issue number 1 last year, you would be correct. That series was an anthology science fiction series. It ran 5 issues. It ended. You can get that in collected edition. And now we get a brand new anthology coming out this year. And hey, I'm just as excited about this one as I was about the last one. So Cruel Universe 2025, number 1, out this week. Cover price is $4.99. And next up, the next book on the radar for me this week comes from IDW Publishing. And this is Godzilla, Escape the Dead Zone, issue number 1. Now, this is another new addition to the Godzilla mythos in this new Kaisei era. I really liked the Godzilla number 1, just the mainline Godzilla book. This is kind of another one. There's a lot of new IDW Godzilla comics, so you should kind of get in where you fit in. Check them out if you're a big kaiju fan. What's interesting about this one, which it's written by Ethan Parker and Griffin Sheridan with art by Pablo Tanica, but this there's a guy in this book who is half man, half kaiju. If you're looking at the cover, you see this dude kind of walking around, but he's got a tail. And that in and of itself is just interesting to me for some reason. So I'm excited to check it out. Godzilla Escape the Dead Zone number 1 is out this week with a cover price of $4.99. Next up, for the Power Rangers fans out there, we got a lot of new books on the radar, by the way. But for the Power Rangers fans out there, we're getting Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind, issue number 1. Also, well, not from IDW, this is from Boom Studios. But Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind is a one-shot, if I'm not mistaken. But this is a one-shot that basically sees Rita going, okay, so there's Rita Repulsa teaming up with herself from the future, teaming up with Robo Rita from 30 years in the future to try to bring down the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers before they get started. And so we're getting a old Rita, future Rita, old Rangers, future Rangers in an all-out battle. If you're a fan of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, this is exactly the type of nonsense that would happen on the TV show. And so that's fun in and of itself. If you're someone like me, I don't know. I am one of those people that, like, once we got to like Turbo and Lightspeed Rangers and all that other stuff, I didn't care about the Power Rangers anymore. Give me the original team. I want Zach and Billy and Trini and Rocky and Jason somehow. And of course, Tommy. And Kimberly and Aisha. I'm now mixing iterations of the team. But the point is, those are the Rangers that I want to see. And that's exactly who's going to be in this book. So I'm excited about it. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind, issue number 1 is out this week. Like I said, it's a one-shot, 40 pages. Cover price is $7.99. And the last book I'm going to spotlight on the radar this week is Wolverine by Chris Claremont, issue number 1. And if that is not the most confusing way to name that, we had the Wolverine. Oh no, that was a Frank Miller Wolverine series. That was Chris Claremont and Frank Miller, wasn't it? That original 4-issue series. And then we had another Wolverine title, also from Chris Claremont. Anyway, the point is, this is neither of those. This is a reprint of a book that was previously only available as part of a Marvel Paragon collection, which was like this big, expensive hardcover thing that just happened to have some news stories in it as well. And now this, rarely before seen news story is going to be available to the general public in Wolverine by Claremont, issue number 1, out this week with a cover price of $4.99. Now, that was a lot. That was a lot of new number 1 issues. And so if I'm going to add any of these to my pull list, and I definitely want to add a couple, well, then it's time for a budget check, because I try to limit myself each week to a budget of just $50. And well, this week we're in luck. I'm only spending, even when I add all this stuff to the pull list that I want to see, I'm only spending $55.03 this week. So it's not a bad budget week at all. But this is the only good budget week I have if I don't make any changes. So stay tuned to the channel. Later this week, you're going to see my pull list purge, my fall back to school pull list purge, where I try to get this budget back to a reasonable level before the next new comic book day. So, but since, we don't have to do that this week, since I don't have to make any cuts this week, I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to cherish it. I'm going to relish in this moment. And we're going to talk about everything else on the pull list. So let's start off with Absolute Green Lantern, issue number 5. Al Ewing, Janoy Lindsay, telling a sort of, not a retelling, a reimagining of what the Green Lantern mythos could be. So far, the major players have been Joe Mullen, this monster Abin Sur, and, Hal Jordan, John Stewart, Guy Gardner have all made appearances to varying degrees of importance. Got this interesting thing going on with like the weakness of the color yellow on the Green Lantern spectrum. But basically, it turns out like Abin Sur appears on the scene and it's just like, unaliving people left and right, until we find out he's not actually unaliving people. But what exactly is he doing with them? I don't know what he's doing with them, but it seems like Sojourner Mullen is the key to figuring all that out. This has been interesting so far. I think it's going to read very well collected, especially if you're not a big Green Lantern head, which I'm not a big Green Lantern head. So exciting stuff, but I think it might read better in trade. Absolute Green Lantern issue number 5 is out this week. Cover price is $4.99. Next up is Absolute Superman issue number 10. We're not even going to stay on this long. I'm not caught up on this book at all, but it's on the list still. $4.99 is the cover price on that. It's written by Jason Aaron. I think Rafa Sandoval is like off the art at this point, but I don't know. Next up is The Amazing Spider-Man issue number 9. This book, every 2 weeks, I tell you I'm going to drop it. And every 2 weeks, it stays on the pull list because there's a cool variant cover, or I just haven't brought myself to cut the cord. And that's exactly what's going on this week. Cover price on that is $4.99 as well. Next up are 2 titles that I'm very excited for, actually. First is Ultimate X-Men issue number 18. This should be the final issue in the 3rd story arc. I am like half a story arc behind, so I've read past issue 12, but not very far past issue 12. I'm very excited to get caught up, though, because the Ultimate Universe is kind of coming to a head. We've been told that most of these titles are going to end at 24 issues. I'm very curious to see, like, okay, if these books end at 24, does the Ultimate Universe end at 24, or do we do something more with it after the Return of the Maker? I don't know. Very interesting stuff, though, indeed. And I'm excited to see what's going on the Japan side of things. Cover price on that is $4.99. Next up is The Uncanny X-Men issue number 19. This written by Gail Simone. Who's on art? Let's just look. So this one's, okay, David Marquez is back on artwork. Quite honestly, that's enough of a reason for me to grab this. I loved Dave Marquez on The Unchosen, his creator-owned title that came out last month. I'm excited to see what he's cooking up in the pages of Uncanny X-Men. Even though I've been behind, I'm currently reading the Dark Artery storyline, which just got a trade paperback release last week. So interesting stuff going on, but I'm not caught up on it. And I'm just going to stay away from all these ridiculous crossovers. But anyway, cover price on this one is $4.99. And the last book on my pull list this week is The Walking Dead Deluxe issue 118. I think we've got like 75 issues left before this run is complete. I had been collecting it because I thought I wanted to do a big custom bind project. Then I found out that to custom bind books with cardstock covers makes for a very unpleasant reading experience. So it turns out I'm not going to custom bind these books at all. Or maybe I will, but just without the covers. I wonder how that'll read. We'll see. And then maybe I'll do like a Walking Dead Deluxe, the covers. That could be interesting. Okay, maybe this custom bind is not off the table after all, but we'll see how things go. The Walking Dead Deluxe issue 118 is out this week. Cover price is $3.99. And that's it. That's all the books on my pull list. Like I said, if I just buy what's on the list, then I'm only paying $55.03, and that is not bad. But the biggest reason for me to do a pull list purge is because more and more I get into these collected editions. I find myself enjoying buying trade paperbacks and stuff like that. So let's talk about a segment I like to call Trade Waiting. Now, our Trade Waiting segment spotlights new trade paperbacks, new collected editions hitting the book market and the direct market in a given week. And the Trade Waiting segment is sponsored by a brand new sponsor, Panel Bound Comics. Panel Bound Comics is formerly known as Organic Priced Books. They have gone through a rebranding, a name change. They got a sleek new website, and they are a great place to grab these trade paperbacks, hardcovers, omnibus editions, the big absolutes, all your collected editions needs you can get at Panel Bound Comics. And like I said, brand new website, brand new ordering experience, but it's the same great customer service, the same great people. And if you had a pull list or a wish list under the old name, all that's going to transfer over. Another thing that transfers over, my discount code. Use the code BJKicks at checkout. Save a couple of dollars at Panel Bound Comics, and huge thanks to them for sponsoring this segment of the video. Now, let's get into this new trade paperbacks coming out this week, starting with Absolute Batman Volume 1, The Zoo. Scott Snyder and Nick Dragotta set the comic world on fire with this book. It's gotten record numbers of orders. It was one of the biggest launches of 2024. And I'm very excited for you guys to see it. This takes Bruce Wayne and everything that you know about Batman is flipped on its head, but not in a way that it's unfamiliar. It's like it's familiar but different and like really, really good. Scott Snyder wrote like years worth of Batman, and it was really good back then when he was writing it. And somehow this is like, I don't want to say better. In some ways, it's like it's a different take that you just didn't think could feel so fresh coming from someone who's gotten so much experience with Batman. And this is really good. The Nick Dragata artwork is amazing. The colors, everything. This book is great. This is going to give you the sort of origin of this absolute Batman. You're going to see this new Gotham, this new universe, and how all these different people that you know from Batman lore are reimagined. Very, very interesting. In my opinion, well, I don't know. I've not read enough of the other titles, but this is my favorite absolute book by far. Cover price on this is $17.99. Next up is Green Lantern Volume 4, Civil Core. This is technically this is like the first Green Lantern book in like the all-in era. You could kind of start with this if you wanted to. I'd go all the way back to Jeremy Adams Volume 1 just because that run has been so good. But it's important to know like the sort of the all-in era started in the middle of Green Lantern or Jeremy Adams' Green Lantern run. He says you need that other stuff. It's not really the greatest jumping in point, but it's good enough. Fractured or the Civil Core Civil Core trade paperback is out this week with a cover price of $19.99. Next up is Justice League Unlimited Volume 1, Into the Inferno. We've got a trade paperback coming out for $17.99. There's a hardcover, I think, for $24.99 out this week. But this, again, being one of the first books in the all-in era, which gave us new jumping on points for all sorts of series and new titles where we had not seen titles for these characters. Justice League Unlimited. Justice League are finally back, and it's been really, really good. It's written by Mark Waid, art by Dan Mora, and this kind of puts on the table where it's kind of like the TV show, the cartoon, where any member of the Justice League might get a spotlight at any given point in time. So the teams are fresh, they're varied. It feels like every character has something to do and a specific reason for being in the book at a given time. And I don't know, I just like it. I like it a whole lot. Cover price on that one, like I said, is $17.99. Well, I just told you how Blood Hunt was probably one of the best Marvel events in recent years. And well, we're finally getting a hardcover of the Blood Hunt main event, the 5-issue miniseries of Blood Hunt. But this one is the Red Band edition. The Marvel Red Band program is this thing. They did a bunch of polybagged issues that had like an extra page or two of blood and gore. And overall, the panels, there are details on panel that you didn't get in the regular version. So if you were buying the regular version off shelves, now you can get the Red Band version in an oversized hardcover for just $34.99. And it looks like I misspoke earlier because the Uncanny X-Men Volume 2, The Dark Artery, actually, that trade paperback doesn't come out until this week. So The Dark Artery, this kind of goes back into the X-Men's past and kind of reveals an important figure to mutant history. There's like been a comparison to sort of like Henrietta Lacks in a way. Just some interesting stuff going on there. I haven't completed reading this story arc, so you don't have to be like me and go back and dig out a bunch of single issues. You can read The Dark Artery just by picking up this trade paperback. Cover price on that is $19.99. And the last trade paperback that I'm going to highlight today is Feral, Volume 3. Tony Fleece, Trish Forstner, Tone Rodriguez on Feral. It's some of the most fun you're going to read in comics. Like if you are like me and you missed out on the Walking Dead craze as it was happening, this is better. I shouldn't say it's better. I haven't read The Walking Dead. But this book takes everything you love about like zombie apocalypse types books and mixes it with everything you love about classic Disney animation. And you've got these cute cats in the middle of this rabies outbreak, and they find themselves in a world of shenanigans where they can trust no one. They can't trust their fellow animals. They can't trust all the humans or most of the humans or any of the humans, and the shenanigans have ensued. This is an ongoing series, and so it seems like every couple of months the stakes get higher and more exciting things happen. I got a little bit of a preview of some things to come, and you're going to want to get caught up on this series if you've fallen behind. Great way to do that is with this trade paperback. Pharaoh, Volume 3, 9 Lives, is out this week with a cover price of $16.99. And that was a trade waiting segment. Like I said, if you're interested in any of those books, you can pre-order them at panelboundcomics.com. You can, shop from hundreds of in-stock items, even some back-ordered items you can find, all available there. Use the code BJKicks at checkout. You'll save a few coins on your way to a great reading experience. And well, this was a long episode of the pull list, but that's going to do it for me this week. I hope you enjoy these reads. I got to get to the comic shop and pick them up, and I hope you do the same. Till next time, stay safe, stay awesome, and read something dope today. Peace.